Okay, folks, welcome back to another fantastic edition of Opal Presents Know Your Pros. And today's guest, we have Rob Peterson of All Dry Services. They serve North County, San Diego, and are San Diego County's choice for fire, water, and mold damage services. The guy expects the unexpected and provides 24-hour services when homeowners or business owners are facing an emergency. Rob, it's a thrill to have you here on the show, man.
Thanks very much. Glad to be here.
Rob, I talked to a lot of restoration pros, but never one at All Dry. And I'm curious to kind of get your take on what you provide your clients in North County, San Diego, and what you try to achieve every day as a restoration franchise owner. But I wanted to start with the why of why you decided to become a business owner. This company, for those that don't know, at least yours, is a family business. You run it with your son, and I heard that maybe this was born out of like a poor experience you had with an insurance company, which is not an unfamiliar story for a lot of people, unfortunately. But maybe you can tell that to us right now.
Absolutely. So several years ago, we had a plumbing leak in our home, and it flooded several rooms. I called my insurance agent, asked for some help. Who do I call? Who do you recommend? He had us call a company that came out, and unfortunately, that company really took advantage of us in a time when we needed help. So, that experience really not only damaged the reputation of my insurance agent, but it certainly left me in a bad situation. So, like a lot of people you hear about that have similar situations, I thought there had to be a better way. And I knew that this was an opportunity for me to start a company that could not only help people in a time of need, but do it in a way that provided the most value for customers and for those people that refer me.
Right. Well, I mean, something that strikes me about the way in which, you are, or the way in which you run your business is that you're looking at it almost an altruistic way, right? We talked about how in your experience with that insurance company, you were going through like one of the worst days of your life and you said it was multi-room, right? Like this plumbing emergency affected multiple spaces in the house.
Yes. Yep. It
Yeah.
flooded a bathroom and a bedroom and my wife's home office. So
And I mean, like it really grinds me. And I see it in the digital marketing space too, where I kind of exist. But those fly-by-night type companies in the restoration industry, especially, sort of lick their chops and they go, oh my gosh, well, here's a big old payday from the insurance company that I can really look forward to here. And that just like completely throws me off because where are your priorities as a business owner? And it's so clear and apparent to me that of course the payday is not what you're looking for. You're looking for making it back to reality in a quick way, an expedient way. I mean, like that's a fair characterization here, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, but people deserve to have their home returned to a pre-loss condition. They've often been paying for insurance for years. In my particular situation, it was not an insurance claim. It was an insurable claim, but I was worried. It was a new. Actually, I had just changed my insurance to this agent, and he was concerned that I might get canceled if I made a claim within a few months of starting the relationship. So
Mm,
I paid for this whole thing out of pocket, and that's what made it particularly egregious to me, to take advantage of me. But even if the insurance is paying for it, we're not here to stick it to the insurance company either. Uh, there's a fair and an equitable way to treat people, regardless of who's financially responsible.
hmm And Rob, like I know that you're not a guy who's come from the blue collar world, from the restoration world previously. I know you've had different types of experience during your career. Why was restoration such an appealing industry to you? I know that we talked about the poor experience with another insurance agent, but tell me a little bit about that. Why come into restoration?
couple things. My career was always in real estate. I managed large networks of bank branches. So water, flood, and mold remediation was a very small part of that responsibility. But so I know the industry well. But I love helping people, and banking, you know, people need a bank, but it doesn't really make a huge impact on their day-to-day life.
Mhm.
And the opportunity to come in and help people at a time of great need was super attractive to me. And I got to say, it is very rewarding when someone, again, in your words, is experiencing one of the worst days of their life, and help them through that process. And,
Mm.
we also realize that there's a lot of players in that process, helping them through the insurance process so that they get what they have paid for all those years, from in their benefit. And there are certain things that you should say, and there are certain things that you should not say with an insurance company. Agents are almost always on the side of their customers, which is great. Um, so being able to help those customers how to speak with their agents, and then how to speak with the insurance companies, so that they, because some people might say something which is uh, marginally accurate, but not completely accurate, and that can cause them to be denied. And so we help coach them through that process.
That's great. I mean, yeah, you are right in pointing out that it's a multi-step process. It's a sometimes a multi-division process, right? Where you've got uh, tear down. I'm using the incorrect words, but you got tearing all this drywall out. You're replacing the stuff, or you might be drying it before then, and then you're bringing all the goods and things back into the home, and maybe you're doing reconstruction in the process too. I mean, can you speak to a little bit of what that experience is like for somebody who's working with your business? That's kind of leading into the broader question of, hey, why All Dry, North County, San Diego, and Rob Peterson?
Yeah. It is a very involved process. And, when it's someone's business, boy, they've got to stay open while you're doing your work as much as possible. And so sometimes we're working at night. One of our very first projects was a dentist's office, and he had a roof leak that was caused by a HVAC contractor who was installing a new air conditioning unit on the roof, and they didn't adequately. They made some roof penetrations that caused this leak. And so we would come in every night at 5 o'clock when he closed up, and we would do our work, and then we'd show up at about 6 in the morning, and we'd take everything out and button it up so that he could operate for the day. He could not operate, but he could see patients for the day in
Yeah.
a clean and safe environment. And then we'd come back in again and take it all out, and do our work again the following night. Or if it's in your home, um, just doing it in a way that helps you maintain as much of your normal life as possible. And we do have customers that need to move out for a period of time, and we help them assess that and figure that out. It's clear communication, helping them understand what the process looks like, what we might find, what we might not find, keeping them in control.
Right. Well, yeah, that's important to point out. I mean, like we're illustrating the process. We're walking the customer through that process to make them feel like, hey, not only are we going to take care of this issue, but here's what it's going to look like throughout that.
Yeah.
If a customer has a visual of that, it's much easier to wrap your head around, and much easier to get right back to where we want to be, especially if the communication and the expectations are set in the first place. Which,
And it's an emotional time, right?
yeah,
It's, things are being moved out sometimes. Um, just depends on how severe the situation is. So the more you can communicate with people and help them understand the process, and help them understand that here are some decisions we'd like you to be prepared to make in the near future. It just helps them have a sense of that it's going to be okay, and that they are still in control, that things aren't happening to their home or their work environment that without their knowledge.
right, right. Well, you guys expect the unexpected, and you know, that's apparent to me. So, Rob, before we wrap up here, man, like tell us, our viewers, anybody out there looking for a contractor who can help out with a water, fire, or mold emergency, where can they find you and your business out in the wild?
Great. Well, come to our website, myalldry.com, and you'll have an opportunity to put your zip code in and you'll come straight to me. You can call me 760-527-3790, or we're on Google, Yelp. You can find us all over.
Yeah, folks, check them out online. The reviews speak for themselves over at North County, San Diego for All Dry Services, which Rob Peterson, is the owner of. Rob, it's all here online, and of course, we're going to put everything into the description. So if anybody, once again, is looking for services like what Rob's business provides here, that's where you're going to want to look. And he is the man. He is Rob Peterson. You know, this is now a pro that we all know. So, Rob, thank you so much for choosing to join us here today on Know Your Pros.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.